playoff-wise, Michigan State's below Michigan, but Ohio State is below Oregon, and then Oklahoma's below Baylor, right? So, like, you, as the playoff committee, you're consistently showing that, you know, if you beat somebody, hey, Notre Dame's below Cincinnati, right?
Right.
If you have beaten somebody, even if you have the same or even more losses than the other team,
Right.
But if you beat that person, they deserve to be lower. But for some reason, the head-to-head matchup, Michigan State only, you know, yeah,
It doesn't matter.
And they took one loss, right? They lost to Purdue, but hey, Michigan, you lost to Michigan State. Why is Michigan ahead of them? So I don't know.
And it's not like
Unless they're putting
it's not like there's a little bit of a difference in rankings. It's literally like one is and then right there. It's 6 and 7.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I don't understand.
I mean, the only thing that I can see is they put Michigan over Michigan State because their one loss came to a ranked Michigan State, and Michigan State's loss came to an unranked Purdue. So I could see that being their reasoning. But
if you're gonna put them side by side, I feel like the head-to-head is more important.
no, I agree. I'm just saying that's the only thing I can see them making the argument about is saying that Michigan's loss is to a highly ranked Michigan State team. And Michigan State's loss is to an unranked Purdue team.
Yeah, I get that. I tell you, I think what this committee has consistently shown is that they're going to try and put the big name teams with the biggest fan bases and the most.
Oh, they're going to put them at the top.
Oh, they proved that by the first time they released their rankings, and they put
Yeah.
Alabama number 2.
Yeah,
And they were fresh off A&M loss.
yeah. So
It makes no sense.
yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
But I think they
brand recognition
but I think
has,
they also-
has proven to be a little bit more important this year.
But I think they also did that too to the point where Alabama's going to have to play Georgia. So one of them can either be pushed out, or you're going to have them flip-flop positions. So that way they don't have to play each other until an actual championship game.
Yeah. I think for the committee, the best hope, well, for us as fans, if you're wanting to see Cincinnati get in, you need to see Georgia beat Alabama in that SEC championship game.
Very handily.
You need to see Ohio
I
State.
don't think it matters if it's handily or not,
Yeah.
unless it is by 3 points or less. Georgia win knocks Alabama out of the playoffs.
Could be, yeah, could be. And then you got
Because at that point in time, you can't ignore an undefeated Cincinnati.
Well, you
You can't put a
you can't
2-loss
put-
Alabama over somebody that's got one loss.
Watch
Yeah.
them. They'll do it.
Yeah,
I
they'll
mean,
do it.
I get that standpoint, but you can't, because then it's
No.
it's going to cause such a drama that
Based on the numbers, yes, you cannot do that. But
Yeah.
they'll do it because they want the money in the rankings, because they know Bama's going to travel wherever the hell you send them to. Is Cincinnati going to travel like that? They might, just because it's their first time being there and it's that high profile of a game.
I think it'll get a lot of eyes. I think it'll actually have the reverse effect of what the committee thinks it's going to be. It's going to have a lot of eyes going, okay, they finally let this group of 5 team in. Let's see what they can do, right? And again, I
so
said,
then if Cincinnati goes in there and wins a game,
holy crap, you know.
then now they have to expand the playoffs.
Well, but then they're going to go. Well, I mean,
they should expand the playoffs as it is.
They're going to look at it and go, oh, well, is Cincinnati really actually a group of 5 team? Because they're joining the Big 12 in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so in 2 years, like, if 2 years comes around and we're in the same scenario, is Cincinnati actually sitting at 4 right now because they're undefeated and Ohio State has 1 loss to Oregon? You know, because they're actually a Big 12 team, so they're a Power 5 team.
I think kind of what hurts them in that sense is, like you said earlier, or in previous weeks, is Cincinnati had to go out and put people on their schedule to prove they can go out there and play with bigger name teams.
Yeah.
So you put them in the Big 12 where they're going to play better conference games, bigger name. Of course, they're not going to have Texas or Oklahoma, but you're still going to have Baylor, you're still going to have TCU, you're going to have Kansas State, you're going to have Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Houston's going to be in there. So you're going to have better teams in that conference, which is going to boost your credit and get you up higher in those rankings. Right now, them being a group of 5, I think still hurts them in that sense. That's why they're putting these other teams ahead of them at this point, because the teams that are ahead of them still have to play their biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
So everything's going to fall into place. It's just a matter of what happens between Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to fall into place. And if Oregon goes and loses to Utah, I think Oregon's done. Ohio State loses to Michigan State, Ohio State's probably done.
God, that's going to be a whirlwind, because then you're going to have Michigan State, who's beat Michigan, and
and Ohio State.
Let's say
if you have Michigan State beat Ohio State, you honestly almost have to put them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They'll go to the Big Ten championship.
I don't know how they do it because I'm gonna throw you a little triangle here. So let's say Michigan State's beat Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say Ohio State beats Michigan State, and then Michigan beats Ohio State.
Michigan still goes. They own the tiebreaker against Michigan. Or Michigan State goes because they own the tiebreaker against Michigan. Because they would both have one loss.
Okay.
And they have the head-to-head matchup.
Michigan's loss is to Michigan State. That's their one loss in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Ohio State loses to Michigan State. Ohio State then has a loss.
Yeah. And then Ohio State beats Michigan.
And Michigan State has the head-to-head against Ohio State. So if Michigan State wins this, they go.
Yeah.
Michigan State is in the driver's seat.
What if it's the other way around? What if
If
Michigan State
Ohio
beats
State-
Michigan, Ohio State beats Michigan State, and then Michigan beats Ohio State?
Michigan still goes.
Michigan goes?
Not Michigan. Michigan State would go.
Wow, they lost to Ohio State.
It would have to come down to head-to-head matchup at that point then.
Well, they all have beaten each other. So
they would have all beaten each other one
Ohio
time.
State's beating Michigan State, Michigan State's beating Michigan, and then Michigan's beating Ohio State. Who do you put in the play? I mean, at that point, Ohio State's not making the playoffs because they have two losses. They'll have Oregon, and then they would have Michigan.
It's all about Michigan State or Michigan. Which one do you put up there?
Yeah.
I guess it's the one who beats Ohio State.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's the one who beats Ohio State.
Yeah, that's probably true. Because they'll probably look at it and say, "Hey, Michigan, your actual only loss is against Michigan State, but you've beaten Ohio State. Hey, Michigan State, you've beaten Michigan, but you have lost to Ohio State and you've lost to Purdue."
Well, Michigan State would be out at that point.
Yeah.
Because that'd be two losses in the Big Ten.
So it would be Michigan. It would be Michigan. Oh my God, if Michigan makes the playoffs after such a weak ass schedule.
Old Captain Khaki Pants.
Captain Khaki Pants. So, all right. Well, that's your Week 12 picks and your college football playoffs. I'm sure we're going to break this into two different videos. But as always, thanks for watching. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, beer_bacon_bros. If you have some comments, you have a specific four you want to see make the college football playoffs, let us know in the comment section. And as always, we'll see you next time.